So for the purpose of this video, I will simply answer some of the few misconceptions I receive over and over again from all kinds of people and all kinds of viewers, and they seem to be pretty prevalent in this occult community, not necessarily this community, but in modern culture in general. So I need to discuss those topics shortly with decent eloquence so that people can understand me. So, first thing we need to tackle is astral senses development. So, on this YouTube channel, I've filmed many astral senses development exercises, and those exercises and those meditations indeed perceive and give results. They give results to majority of people who try them. I have a lot of positive feedback in comments, but what people need to understand and what they need to know is that those exercises are exercises, people. And in order for exercise to give a result, it needs to be repeated over and over again. Astral and psychic abilities, just like any other faculty, have to be trained. You cannot expect to get results overnight, nor you can expect to miraculously solve all of your problems with 3 meditations. And that's something which I need to repeat over and over again to a lot of people, and I need to give same warning, same instruction to people over and over again. Second thing is, since a lot of people ask me for pacts over the years, they want to make a pact with particular spirit, they want to manifest certain goals. What I need to point out is that I cannot, from a moral and ethical standpoint, simply make a pact for you and then leave you with that. What I need to do is I need to show you the exercises. You need to do the exercises. I need to follow your progress. And once it is done, once you are at sufficient level to make a pact with entity, then I can make for you a pact with the entity. So when you are paying me for a pact with demon or with any other form of spirit, expect and be willing to go through the process of becoming ready for such a spiritual union. Because I don't want to trick you to just make a pact for you and leave you alone with that. That is something I am not willing to do because that would be immoral. I need to prepare you for the process. And I need to show you how to interact with spirit and with entity. So, yeah. The third question and the third misconception I need to tackle is how curses work. Well, a good friend of mine did a curse on somebody, and that friend of mine is wondering why curse doesn't work after 3 days. And what I need to explain to that person, as well as many other people, is magic takes time to work. It takes time to manifest. I personally fall into the trap of wanting results quickly sometimes, but the truth is magic takes time. Even painful magic takes time, and you need to wait a bit. Sometimes few weeks, sometimes few months. And the last misconception I need to tackle is spirits will not do work for you if you are not willing to do any form of work for that thing. Okay? Unless you are capable to compel spirits. If you are not capable of binding them, Spirits will not do for you what you are not willing to invest any effort into. Let me give you an example. So let's say you want to win a lottery. Uh, First, you need to pay a ticket. Otherwise, Spirit will not help you to win a lottery. This was the most absurd example ever, but this is essentially what I need to say to many people, because if you are not willing to invest the most basic effort into something, don't ask spirits to do it, because believe me, you will end up in pretty shitty situations. Okay? And the last thing is, when you promise something to the spirits, you need to fulfill your oath, you need to fulfill your promise. So, since this is Hindu themed video with Aghori at the front, I wanted to talk about something specific for Abhichara Hindu Tantric current, and first I need to pay my respect to the Ayan World Foundation, and I need to thank them once again for giving me all of this information. But for the purpose of this video, I am going to discuss specifically work with deities from the Hindu point of view. So it's kind of difficult for me as a Westerner to figure it out, and following those instructions which is given in Hindu Ayanist manuals is a little bit difficult for the Westerner, to say the least. So by any stretch of imagination, I am not an expert. Obviously, they are much bigger authorities than me in the field of working with the Hindu gods and pantheons. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. Okay, I am on a pretty tricky territory when I talk about Hindu gods. Of course, a lot of people got introduced to the Ayan World Foundation through my channel, but it still doesn't mean that I am some form of a guru or authority or whatever. So whatever I say in this clip essentially is my own personal experience as well as instruction from the Ayan World Foundation. What I specifically want to touch a bit here is how gods are seen in Hindu lore. So essentially you have the Brahman, or the Para Brahman, the source of all, the source of all creation. And that source of all creation creates everything, gives everything a way to exist. And so that source, aka Brahman, is manifesting itself into certain smaller forms of itself. And those smaller forms of Brahman himself are essentially devas on the positive side and asuras on the negative side. So all of those gods, all of those asuras and devas are on a surface level separate entities. But on one more primordial, supreme level, they are simply expressions of Brahman. They are simply expressions of that higher secret supreme. So when you are kneeling and when you are venerating a deity in Hindu pantheon, you are not venerating a woman dressed in knight's clothing, or woman with black skin, or some guy with the trident. Those are simply images and names and attributes of the energies of the Brahman in the particular form. So let's say you are venerating Kali Devi, right? You are venerating Mahakali, or you are venerating Ashura Kalanemi, or you are venerating Ayan Lavaliangatisaman, right? So you are essentially worshipping the Brahman in the limited form of those energies, right? So when you are giving offerings to the Asuras or to the Devas or to the Preta Lavaliangatisaman, right? You are venerating the Brahman in the particular form. And submitting to those beings is essentially submitting to the Brahman himself through the form you as individual can relate to, right? And what we also need to understand is that those beings and energies such as Shiva, Kali, or some Asuras, right? They are not people with swords and tridents and turbans or animals or whatever. They are energies. And what you see as a statue, what you see as idol in a temple, or what you see as a picture is simply our representation of that energy. It is our way of conceptualizing that so we can essentially relate to that. Many people fall into trap of identifying gods and spirits and energies with certain forms. So, for example, many people identify Shiva as the god with the trident, a guy with red hair or blue hair or black hair holding trident in his hand or whatever. And that's useful to a degree, but that's not accurate. So the last thing is, once you start following tantric path, you essentially cannot stop. Spirits will call you back all the time and you will have to work with them periodically. So my last thing for people is, when you start practicing Hindu tantric ayani spirituality, especially that of the darker provenance, that of the darker type, you need to continue doing it and you need to continue merging with those spirits, and you need to be pretty disciplined in that. And also I need to ask Ayan World Foundation for some permissions. If they give me those permissions, you guys will have a lot of really unique and interesting Hindu tantric Ayan content here on this channel again, but I cannot share certain information without a permission from the foundation, so I really need to be respectful towards them. If you need to contact Ayan World Foundation, or if you want to support them, please check the links in the description, and talk to you soon. Bye guys.